again, I don't know who this Bella or whatever her name is. This giving
Linda.
What's her name?
Linda.
Okay, giving new meaning to the term feisty Latina, but I think that she was basically playing that up for the cameras because, again, a lot of these people are strictly career driven. This is an opportunity to try to make an impression on whoever has the bag that she's trying to get her hands on. And so this conversation between her and Josie, and again, I wish Josie had the time to hop on with us tonight, but this was to me one of the most mask off moments that you could possibly have. Because when you get into a conversation about Jeffrey Epstein and you are looking for ways to defend him, something really wrong is going on here. And to me, defending Epstein is defending Israel in totality, as far as I'm concerned. It means there is no light that is allowed to pass through when it comes to the issue of Israel. If you're paid by us, you defend us on every topic, including this.
So, but we're not denying. No, wait. We're not denying that Epstein was a pedophile, right?
Well, that's not how you do that.
But
you have discussions
we're
about
not denying he was a pedophile, right?
I haven't seen evidence of prepubescent.
You just said.
He is banging mine.
You said there's no nuance.
I've never seen evidence of that. They've all been post-pubescent.
So now Epstein is not a pedophile?
I don't think so. No.
Gavin, what are you doing, man? It has been documented that these girls were as young as 13 years old. I don't give a flying fuck if they have hair on their vagina. This is insane.
Yeah. Well, it gets even crazier in a second. There's another clip where Linda actually goes so far as to say the girls weren't victims because they were bragging to each other about the money that they were receiving from Epstein. That they were defending Epstein, saying, he did nothing wrong. The charges should be dropped. They were 14 and 16 years old. This was the conviction that he had in 2008 or 9. It was the solicitation of, prostitution from a minor, which he got that sweetheart deal from Acosta. But right. I was in the recap of my show, I said, and this is sincere, I was struggling to speak because I was so shocked by what was happening in front of me. Like to have all of my opposition suddenly unify around the idea of Jeffrey Epstein. Not only was it not an Israeli op, not only was Trump not involved, which I thought that they would probably defend on that line, they went so far as to basically say Epstein was innocent because the girls didn't perceive themselves to be victims. I was like, this is unfucking believable. I can't believe that I'm like, this is even happening. I finally got it together a couple minutes later after it sunk in that this was not a dream. And they just destroyed themselves. I think that this is so, for those that watched, the entire debate, I went through the comments and it was the first night that this came out, there was 1,000 comments and I was watching the full 3-hour plus debate. So I had time to read all the comments or, at least, just look at them briefly. And it was 997 in our favor and 3 for MAGA.
3 for MAGA were probably paid anyway, so there you go.
Well, yeah. Well, and when I say 3 for MAGA, it was like 2 of them were just like, I don't like these libertarians. Why are they even here? So it wasn't like really Team MAGA. So it was like basically 1 for MAGA.
This is like the debate that we've had, in the past regarding single payer healthcare. It's like we can at least have that conversation about single payer as populist left and populist right, because if we're on the same page that we probably need to cut our military budget in half, I would say at least, then we can have a conversation about what is the best way to spend money on healthcare. You cannot have that conversation with people who think that what we're currently doing is acceptable discourse, because it's not beyond the pale at this point.
No, of course. And that was I think that was the thing that I was most disappointed with Gavin McInnes about, is that he was arguing how this is the most, genius geopolitical risk that we've ever seen from a president, and how the outcome of this could be that it totally reorients the geopolitical landscape. And I was just like, I don't think these people actually understand tactically why the Strait of Hormuz is even important. Like, I don't think that they get it.
That's crazy.
Because I don't think that they understand what the petrodollar system is. I don't think that they understand, after the gold window was closed by Nixon in the 70s, that 2 years later we negotiated a deal with the Saudis to get them to sell their oil and gas in the US dollar, which ultimately became the underpinning of the value of the dollar. And like, that is the major that's the reason the Strait of Hormuz matters more than anything to America. Like, it matters to Europe because of goods going through there, obviously, but it matters to America because they sell in the US dollar. And I don't know what Gavin, like, if he understood that, I don't think he would actually still think that this is intelligent, because he seems to think that, like, we're just taking oil away from China. But it's not what's happening. Like, it's just not reality. They're still getting oil and gas from China, from Iran. They get it from Russia. We've totally reoriented and tilted the world away from the American empire. We haven't strengthened the American empire at all. We've strengthened China's empire, if you want to look at it that way. So
sure. I mean, look, if anybody's at the head of the class when it comes to BRICS, it's definitely China. And if there is a currency that is going to supersede the US dollar, it is the Chinese yuan. So we are making their path to being the global dominant power much, much easier. And
and we're expediting it. We're turning it from like a 50-year transition into a 10-year transition. It's just, it's suicidal. So that was the thing that I was most frustrated about, is like, I don't feel like they honestly understand that. And because you couldn't ever talk for more than 10 seconds without getting trampled, I really never was. Yeah, I was never really able to go down a deeper explanatory pathway, and that was very frustrating. But we got 9 people there.
Well, this is why I have you on and why we have these conversations, because the fact of the matter is, it's called, you know this, it's called flooding the zone. You know, if you are a paid Israel op, you are basically told, cut them off at every angle, no matter what they try to say. You just absolutely cut them off every chance you need to.
Yep.
If somebody steps in and tells them to be quiet, then so be it. But if that's not happening, then you continue to do that. And so, believe it or not, guys, this gets a hell of a lot worse.
Do you think he was an asset for intelligence?
There's 32 states that have the age of consent at 16 years old, by the way, Owen.
This is amazing. See, actually, this is a very pivotal moment. This is where MAGA is out. This is where MAGA.
No, hold on. You don't get this.
So I say, have at it. Defend Epstein. The stage is yours. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Do you know why you unfollowed me? Because I corrected you and run facts about Epstein, and you got upset.
No, actually, you unfollowed me because you tried to blackmail me.
No.
Yeah, you tried to blackmail me, Linda.
I tried to blackmail you after.
Yeah, you did. You tried to blackmail me.
Oh, okay.
Right? I tried to blackmail you after.
That's right.
No.
Wait, are you admitting you blackmailed her?
Yeah, she did.
Absolutely, I am. You think Mossad is bad? I'm fucking worst.
Listening to you well, I'm not going to say that I would want anything to do with Mossad, but it's like, I don't know who this lady is. I have never listened to her before. I'm not going to listen to her again. But between you and Josie just being like, okay, fine, you want a clip, you're going to get one. It's probably not going to result in what you think you're going to get out of it. Everyone probably already thinks you're a lunatic. But to even make a statement like that, that's incredible.
Yeah, well, it's admission of a crime, actually. But yeah, I mean, she was really scary, honestly. Like, I thought she was going to fight Josie. I don't know if you're going to play that clip later, but
no, but I know what you're talking about. And she's like, I don't know why you brought her on here. And I'm just thinking, girl, this is not going anywhere near the way that you think this is. Well, I guess they could not possibly get Loomer in that room, because that would not have ended well. So I guess I got the next best thing. But there really is something. No, okay.
I've done shows with Loomer before in person. I did on IRL. I get along with her way better than I did this chick. I mean, this lady is scary. I no exaggeration. I thought that it was going to be a full on assault from her against Josie, because obviously Josie wasn't going to go fight her. People can't tell by the camera, but this lady is closer to my size than to Josie's. I mean, Josie's very tiny. So
interesting.
I'm in GA to avoid Laura Loomer.
Owen, guess what? I corrected you one time and I said, you got the dates wrong. And what did you do?
On what?
You're protecting pedophiles.
On what?
I corrected you. On some wrong, I don't remember the exact thing. It was some wrong stuff, and I said, no, I said, Owen, that's not what happened. This is what happened, because I have read the fucking files.
Soda and beef jerky. That's what you
probably.
Okay, so there it is. So there it is. You believe.
Okay, are you gonna take that to court? You think that's evidence of pedophilia? You're gonna go and say, hello, FBI. This is the evidence that I have. Grape soda mentioned 1,000 times in pizza.
Yeah,
That's
so you
the
believe
evidence
that.
you have?
So you believe if you look at your kid's phone. Hold on, let me say this. If you look at your kid's phone and your kid is talking about pot and grass,
no, I already know this analogy. I already know this analogy.
What are they talking about, Linda?
Why don't you tell me how they started?
Are they talking about
pot? I don't really give a shit.
Or are they talking about weed?
I don't really give a shit what they talked about. Did they rape the kids or not?
Yes, kids were raped.
Yes, but there's no evidence.
Okay.
There's no evidence. Like, you know,
Defend Epstein. Take it away, guys. Take it away.
I mean, Owen's pretty good at what he does. You know, Owen Stroyer, give him credit. You know, he's with Alex for many years, and you know, he's handling himself pretty well here. And I would also say that, you know, you would think that these conversations could be fruitful, but anybody at this point who has gone down that, whatever, again, you want to call it MAGA, you call it whatever you want to call it, but it's basically people who are willing to follow Trump off the deep end because it pays. I don't see anybody who could possibly be ideologically inclined to whatever this is unless there's a monetary exchange going on. It doesn't make any sense. No one's acting this way. You know, Linda's not acting this way unless it's paying.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably true for most people, but there is also a cult of personality phenomenon that is really, really real around Trump. Like, people are so desperate that they have committed so much of themselves, their financial well-being, they've lost relationships in support of Trump, that I think many of them are just pot committed, that they don't want to accept. Like, I have some relatives like this. They do not want to accept that Trump is not on their side. They cannot accept that. It's too painful for them. And this is real. So I'm not saying that I'm not trying to give credit to anybody on that panel that they're from that worldview. I think you're probably right that many of them are being paid. But there are some people that are, especially the older demographics in America, that just like they look at Trump as their last line of defense, and they will not accept any sort of evidence to the contrary that he's not on their team anymore.
And that's why Theo Vaughn getting off the bandwagon right off the bat, he's like, listen, I mean, he said what he said when he was campaigning. And a lot of what he said I agreed with, especially when you compare it to Biden and Kamala. So I made a decision. And then as soon as he started doing what he was doing, I was off it. So
that's what I did.
Credit's due.
Yeah, that's what I did. I mean, I was really hopeful because of the RFK Jr., Tulsi, Elon, Vivek. Like, it wasn't that none of those people are perfectly aligned with me, but in terms of what we're always offered, this, you know, poo-poo platter of garbage, AB binary, I was like, well, this is the most interesting of the binary I've ever been offered. You know, it's just the truth. So I was really hopeful, but now all of those people are out. All of them. Or I mean, RFK Jr., there's rumors that he's going to drop out in about a month. I don't know if that's true, but it looks, even if he doesn't drop out, he hasn't accomplished much. He's obviously been stonewalled. He's completely flipped on most of the corporate capture. So it's just, you know, I wanted to be a little optimistic as a lifelong libertarian that has never had any hope in the duopoly. And I was like, this seems like there might be a shot of us getting, I don't know, 20% of the promises, and we got like 2. You know, so
well, you know, if there is a silver lining to this, is that you can now you can move forward without ever being fooled like this again. It only takes one of these instances where you just know that unless you do check these boxes and there is no gray area whatsoever, this person cannot be trusted. And that's why Massey is such an immensely important figure in this moment right now, because he was willing to become a political martyr in order to forward the America First agenda.